Hello and welcome to another video. In this video, we will be solving Principle of Accounts Paper 1 from October-November 2014. I hope you find this video helpful. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. Let's begin with the first multiple choice. Multiple choice 1. Businesses make use of both bookkeeping and accounting procedures. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of bookkeeping? So let's read through the options. To interpret the double entry records, no. This in multiple choice, you have to select the most best option that describes the purpose of bookkeeping. Now you can argue that to interpret double entry records can come under bookkeeping, but it's more like accounting procedures. And the question is asking about the purpose of bookkeeping. So understanding the question is very important before trying to look for the answer. Right, so let's look at the option B, to prepare financial statements at regular intervals. No, this is not a job of bookkeeping or a purpose of bookkeeping. To record all the financial transactions of the business, yes. Now this sounds very, very right. That in bookkeeping, the main purpose of the bookkeeping is to record all these financial transactions. In other words, to make journal entries, right? That's the purpose. Let's also read option D, to summarize the financial position of a business. Now this is to summarize the financial position of business. For that we prepare balance sheet. So therefore this is a wrong option. The answer to multiple choice 1 is option C. The purpose of bookkeeping is to record all the financial transactions of the business. Multiple choice 2. Which statement about the computerized accounting system is correct? So if you see this multiple choice came last diet as well. That is June 2014. So if you are solving past papers, then you would see there is a certain trend appearing up, or there would be certain multiple choices that would be repetitive. So you can make a list of those repeating questions, and they will help you prepare for your upcoming accounting exam. So let's read through the options and find which statement is correct for the computerized accounting system. Anyone with a computer can gain access to the accounting records. Not necessarily. There could be passwords. So files would be most likely password protected. Option B, data input can only be used for one specific purpose. Again, this is not really necessary. You can have data which can be used for multiple purposes. So for example, you have the journal entry, right? That journal entry is actually helping you to prepare trial balance plus the income statement, sometimes balance sheet and cash flow. So numbers are very interrelated in accounting. Option C, data output can only be understood by computer programmers. If this was the case, then why would you use computerized accounting system? Therefore, this is absolutely wrong. Multiple choice, option C is absolutely wrong. Option D, operator may result in inaccurate information. Now, this is very practical. This is very practical. Humans make error. Even when I'm recording these videos, sometimes I may misspell something. So I apologize for that, but humans do make mistakes, right? So the correct answer to multiple choice 2 is actually option D. An operator who is operating a computerized accounting system can always make an error, and that would result in an inaccurate information. So therefore, this statement is very much correct. Answer to multiple choice 2 is option D. Multiple choice 3. A trader purchased a motor vehicle for his business using a check from his personal bank account. How is this recorded in the books of the business? So a trader who purchased a motor vehicle, so of course you would debit the motor vehicle account. So if you see, you can actually eliminate option A and option B, and then you're down to 50 50. Now, some students might do credit bank because he used personal bank account, but this would be wrong. You have to look at the purpose. You have to look at the purpose of the transaction, right? The purpose of the transaction, is that the trader purchased uh, for his business, Therefore, he would do credit capital. There's a capital inflow. He's bringing that asset to the business. He's going to invest. He has invested this money into the business by buying a vehicle. So therefore, option C is incorrect, and the correct answer to multiple choice 3 is option D, debit motor vehicle and credit the capital. No credit bank. So debit motor vehicle and credit capital. Multiple choice 4. Arnold's ledgers contain an account for Jim, a credit supplier, and a purchases account. So this is an individual AP account or an accounts payable account, and a purchases account. In which ledgers these accounts will appear? So basically, Jim's account is going to be included in the purchases account, right? Is going to be included in the purchases account. So it's actually going to be option C. The answer to multiple choice 4 is going to be option C. Jim's account will appear in purchases ledger, and then the purchases account will appear in a journal ledger, which includes all the different accounts, right? So relatively simple, not really hard. If you just pay attention, focus, look through the options. I'm pretty sure you're smart enough to answer this question. The answer to multiple choice 4 is option C. Multiple choice 5. Abdul sells goods to Rekha on credit. So Abdul is our seller and Rekha is the buyer. The goods are damaged in transit. So during the shipping from Abdul to Rekha, during the shipping of goods from Abdul to Rekha, the goods were damaged in transit. Which document will Rekha send to Abdul? So which document will Rekha send to Abdul? So which document a buyer will send to a seller when goods are damaged, right? So that's actually going to be a debit note. That's going to be a debit note because now Rekha has to pay less money to Abdul. Why a debit note, right? Why a debit note? It's because now Rekha has to pay less money to Abdul. So the answer to multiple choice 5 is option B. Multiple choice 6. Logan records his sales invoices in a sales journal. Okay. What happens at the end of month? Let's read the options. Okay, the answer to multiple choice 6 is option C. The sales account is credited with the total of the sales invoices, right? So this basically means that you sum up all the sales during the year and then credit to sales So the answer to multiple choice 6 is option C. You credit to sales because you have to show the revenue. So revenue credit sales basically means is equals to revenue, right? So whenever there's an increase in revenue, you credit. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 6 is option C. Multiple choice 7. On 1st September, Wayne sent a check to his credit supplier, John. Okay, he sent a check to Wayne sent a check. So basically, what would happen is that you would have debit. Wayne sent a check to his credit supplier, John. This was correctly entered in John's book. Okay, so in John's book, This has been correctly entered. On 10th September, the check was returned. The check was returned unpaid due to lack of funds. So check was returned due to lack of funds. Which entries will be made in John's book on 10th September? So which entry will be made in John's book on the 10th of September? So if you look at from Wayne's perspective, what has happened is that you have debited John and then credit bank. This is from Wayne's perspective, and from John's perspective, what John would have done is debit bank, credit Wayne. This is from John's perspective, right? But the check has been returned as unpaid because of lack of funds, because Wayne did not had enough money, so the check was not basically cashed out, right? So now how would John record this event on 10th of September? Basically, this would be a reversal entry. This would be a reversal entry. So now you have to inverse the entry. So to inverse the entry, what you would do is debit Wayne and then credit bank. So the answer to multiple choice 7 is actually going to be option D. Multiple choice 8, a business received its bank statement showing the closing balance of 8,500 overdrawn. It was found that unpresented checks amounted to $2,000 and uncredited deposits amounted to $1,500. What was the overdraft shown in the cash book? What was the overdraft shown in the cash book? So basically, you will start with 8,500 overdrawn, add the uncredited deposits, add the unpresented checks, minus the uncredited deposit. So that's 10,500 minus 1,500. That's equals to 9,000. So the answer to multiple choice 8 is option C. The overdraft balance shown in the cash book is $9,000. Zafur sold $300 of goods to Yasmin on credit. So if you want to have the entry of this, would be debit and credit. Of course, there is going to be a credit. They sold, so Yasmin is an account receivable, right? Because the goods have been sold on credit, and then sales revenue because Zafur would have made money. So, right, in Zafur's book, this would be the entry. Just for this part, just for this line, right? Just for this line. Zafur prepared an invoice but posted it as a credit note. So he made an error. He made an error. Which entry will Zafur make to correct this error? So now you have to correct this error. Zafur prepared an invoice but posted it as a credit note. Instead of posting it as a sales revenue, he posted it as a credit note, as a sales return. So he increased the sales return. Now you have to decrease the sales return, right? So of course, there is going to be debit Yasmin, then credit sales return, because you have to reduce that sales return amount, and then credit the sales revenue, and then credit the sales revenue as well, right? So this would be the entry. So 600, 300, and then 300. So the answer to multiple choice 9 is option C. This is the entry here. Multiple choice 10. On 15th April, Kalu made the following entries in his accounts. Which transaction was being recorded? So let's look at this T account. What is happening? What is happening? Let's try to understand what's happening. So there is a debit and then there's a credit, of course. There's this guy called Kalu, and then we have this guy called Jorgba. Okay, 2 people, and then Kalu received some money in his bank account. I guess he received some money from Jorgba. So from looking at these transactions, to me, there's this indication that 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 Dorgba is a trade receivable. He paid some money to, he paid $240. He paid $240 or to say he paid $228 to Kalu. So in other words, if I'm not even looking at these options right now, I'm just trying to understand what's happening here, right? And explaining what's happening. So Dorgba paid $228 after getting $12 of discount. So let's see what options are saying. Dorgba paid Kalu by check after taking a cash discount. Dorgba paid Kalu by check after. Yes, the answer to multiple choice 10 is actually option A. Multiple choice 11. What is the purpose of preparing a trial balance? The purpose of preparing trial balance is to check the arithmetical accuracy of double entry. So this is again a very simple question, and repetitive. So the answer to multiple choice 11 is option B. It helps you, trial balance helps you check the arithmetical accuracy of your double entry. Multiple choice 12. After preparing a trial balance, the following errors were discovered. Error 1, goods returned to Ken Lu had been debited to Ken Lao. So basically different customer. This is called error of commission. So if you see there's only this one option, so you can actually eliminate B, C, and D, and the answer to multiple choice 12 is option A, without even looking at what's option or what's the error to. But this is, let's say, a relatively simple question, I would say. They could actually mess up with, they could give you tricky options over there. So just be careful when reading the question and reading the options. In this case, it happened to be really simple. So the answer to multiple choice 12 is actually option A. Multiple choice 13. On 1st January 2013, advertising of 120 was prepaid. So basically 120 prepaid. During the year, 1280 was paid for advertising. Okay, 1280 was paid for advertising. And then on 31st December 2013, an amount of 960 was transferred from the income statement. What was the balance on the advertising account on 1st January 2014? So if you just do the maths in here of, so if you just do the maths in here, you will actually come to a prepaid balance of $440. So the answer to multiple choice 13 is option D. Multiple choice 14. Rashid maintains a provision for doubtful debts of 5%. So that's our provision rate for trade receivables at the end of each year. Trade receivables owned 40,000 for 31st December 2012, and then trade receivable owned 46,000 on 31st December 2013. So if you want to calculate the provision for 2012, so it would be 40,000 times 5%, and then 2013 it would be 46,000 times 5%. This is 2,000, and 46,000 times 5% is 2,300. Which journal entry should Rashid make on 31st December 2013? So of course on 31st, if you remember provision for doubtful debts, even if you do not, I do have videos on provision for doubtful debts that you can refer to on my channel. So please feel free to watch those videos about provision for doubtful debts. So there's an increase in the doubtful debt of $300. So of course you would debit income statement because this is an expense, and then credit the allowance or the provision. So basically the answer to multiple choice 14 is option A. Right, so answer to multiple choice 14 is option A. Debit income statement by 300, and then provision for doubtful debts by $300. Multiple choice 15, an item of capital expenditure has been incorrectly recorded as revenue expenditures. What is the effect of this error? So basically understated assets, if you're looking at assets and profit, understated assets, and of course understated profits, because you have overstated expenses. You have overstated expenses. So overstated expenses will understate the profit. So answer to multiple choice 15 is option D, understated assets and understated profit for the year end. Multiple choice 16. The difference on trial balance was posted to a suspense account. It was later found that a check for $800 paid to Rafiq, a supplier, had been entered correctly in the cash book, but credited in the purchases account. So which entry will correct this error? So the entry that will correct this error is actually option B. So you have to debit the purchases. You have to debit the purchases because you previously credited, which is incorrect, and then of course debit Rafiq's account because you paid, and then you would credit the suspense by $1,600. So answer to multiple choice 16 is option B. Multiple choice 17. A trader provided the following information. What was the purchases ledger control account balance on 31st March? So if you remember the T account format for purchases ledger control account, that's great. But another way to do or to think like is, so you have an opening balance of this. You purchased 53,000 during the year. So 4,000 plus 53,000 minus purchase return journals reduces your payable, so minus $2,000. Then check paid to supplier, that's a cash outflow, so minus 47,000. And then discount received again gives you a discount so that you have to pay less money, so minus $1,000. And if you do the maths in here, this should come to as $7,000. So the answer to multiple choice 17 is option A. Multiple choice 18, which item affects gross profit? So if you look at gross profit, the formula for gross profit is sales minus COGS. And how do you calculate COGS? COGS is opening inventory plus purchases minus the closing inventory. So if you look through the options, it's actually multiple choice. The answer to multiple choice 18 is option D, goods taken by owner, because this affects purchases. This is drawings, right? This is drawings. So whenever a drawing happen, you debit drawings and you credit purchases, right? A lot of the times they ask you this in multiple choice as well. So goods taken by the owner do affect purchases, and then in return, they would affect the gross profit overall. So the answer to multiple choice 18 is option D. Multiple choice 19, which item is an intangible non-current asset? And that's goodwill. That's intangible is goodwill. So the answer to multiple choice 19 is option B. Multiple choice 20, Nirmal sells two products, product G and product H. The following information is available about his inventory on 31st December 2013. It was found that 100 units of product G were damaged and were unsellable. So basically minus 100, you only have 900 units of G and 800 units of H. What was the total value of Nirmal's inventory? Again, so you would use this concept of lower of cost or NRV. So you would take the lower of cost price or NRV. The lower here is $2 and the lower here is $1.2, right? So to calculate the total value of inventory, it would be 900 times 2 plus 800 times 1.2. And if you do the math in here by yourself, which I encourage because you need to practice. Practice will make you perfect. Practice will help you prepare better for the exam. Practice will help you score better on the exam. And that's why you are here. That's why you are watching this video. right? So do some practice. And if you solve this equation in here, the answer to multiple choice 20 should be 2760. That is option A. Multiple choice 21, which is a service business, a business which sells computers and printers. No, that's a tradable business. I mean, they're not selling any service. They're selling computers and printers. This is tangible. This is tangible. A business which trains computer operators. Yes, that's a service business because they are providing training service, and this is intangible. This is intangible. Stationery, you sell goods, pen, pencils, paper, you can touch them, you can use them, right? TV and video supplier, again, I mean, A, C, and D are absolutely wrong. The answer to multiple choice 21 is option B. Multiple choice 22, Candy and Abel are in partnership. Abel made a loan to the partnership. How will annual interest be? How will this annual interest on the loan be recorded? So of course, you would debit income statement. You would debit income statement definitely, because this is an interest expense. This is an interest expense. And if you look through the options, you can actually cross out ABC immediately, and it comes down to option D. And of course, you would credit Abel's current account because it's an income for him. So Abel's current account is credited, and then you debit the income statement because it's an interest expense. So the answer to multiple choice 22 is option D. Multiple choice 23. On 1st January, a sports club subscription account had a debit balance of $500. During the year, subscription received were amounted to 6,000. Subscription due but unpaid, so they are due but unpaid, so they are accrued. They are accrued on 31st December were $800, right? So in total, you should have earned 6,800, but you have only earned, let's say 6,000 for during the year, right? So 6,800 should be your actual minus the last year's accrued, which is 500, So the actual is 6,300. Actual is 6,300. That's the money that would be reported in the income and expenditure account. So if you see through the options, that's option B. The answer to multiple choice 23 is option B. Multiple choice 24. Walter provided the following information. You have revenues, you have expenses, you have to calculate the profit, and then you have an extra piece of information that's the markup on cost is 25%. The mark. So first COGS calculation, and that's going to be 150,000 divided by 1.25, and this number comes to 120,000. And now once you have the COGS, it's easier for you to calculate the profit. So 150 minus 120 minus the 25, that's 30 minus 25, that's 5. So the answer to multiple choice 24 is $5,000. That's option A. Multiple choice 25. The financial year of ABZ Limited ends on 31st March. Debenture interest paid annually in arrears on 1st April each year. Where will debenture interest appear in the financial statements for the year ended 31st March? So it's going to be income statement and statement of financial position. That's option A. The answer to multiple choice 25 is option A. The debenture interest has nothing to do with appropriation account for now in this particular question. It's income statement and statement of financial position. Income statement because it is an expense, and because it is an accrued expense, it will also appear on the statement of financial position. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 25 is option A. Multiple choice 26. How is prime cost calculated? Prime cost is all direct expenses. So if you see, that's option B. The answer to multiple choice 26 is option B. You add up all the direct materials, direct labor, and direct expenses. Factory overhead is not a direct expense. Multiple choice 27. During a week, Ali works 40 hours and produces 240 items. He can choose to be paid $6 per hour or 1.25 for each item he purchases with a guaranteed minimum weekly gross pay of $275. What is Ali's gross pay? Gross pay if he chooses to be paid by piecework basis. So it's piecework basis. It could be, the question could also ask you hourly basis. Then the answer would actually change, a little change, right? So piecework basically means that you are being paid by how much you produce. So Ali produces 240 units. Ali produces 240 units, and for each unit he gets $1.25 for each unit. So in total, the gross pay, this number comes to as $300. So the answer to multiple choice 27 would be option C, $300. Multiple choice 28. How is return on capital employed calculated? Return on capital. So this is a financial ratio question. If you remember the financial ratio formulas, it's very easy. If you do not, so this is an indication for you that you should revise the formulas, right? The answer here is actually option D. The answer to multiple choice 28 is option D. This is the formula for return on capital employed, or ROCE, right? So the answer to multiple choice 28 is option D. Multiple choice 29. A trader provides the following information. What was the current ratio? So current ratio is current assets over current liabilities. Bank overdraft is a current liability. This is a current asset. This is a current liability. This is a current asset. Short-term loan from a bank. Short-term loan from a bank. So you took a loan from a bank. That's a current liability as well. So total of current assets would be 2200 plus 4200, and then you will divide it by 1650 plus 2900 plus the 2000. So if you do the maths in here, if you solve this by yourself, so if you solve this here, the answer to multiple choice 29 would be option B, 0.98:1. Multiple choice 30. Only the financial transactions of the business are recorded in the business accounting records. Which accounting principle is being described? That's accounting entity. The answer to multiple choice 30 is option A. Accounting entity requires you to account for only business transactions and not for personal transactions. There's a difference between your personal transactions and business transactions. Therefore, the answer to multiple choice 30 is option A. Thank you very much for watching this video and staying till the end. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. Thank you very much.